So this now brings us to a fantastic final session today, which is my absolute privilege to introduce our host council, Hume City Council in Melbourne's northwest, which is one of the most dynamic and multicultural and rapidly growing councils in Australia, and with a very high profile, helped along by a very high profile mayor who will join us in a minute. So I'd like to quickly just introduce Mayor Cr Joseph Haweil, who is the Mayor of the Hume City Council, and CEO Sheena Frost, who will also kick off this session. They have a very rapidly growing population and a commitment to cultural diversity, and the council is focused on creating sustainable communities that are accessible to all. Hume City Council is genuinely a leader and is leading the way in innovative and equitable urban development, and this session will focus on Hume's pioneering approach to greenfield developments. So I'll do a very quick introduction because I could go on for a long time introducing this gentleman, but I'll introduce the Mayor and then he will move on and introduce the rest of the team. So Councillor Haweil was elected to council in 2016 and served as Mayor of Hume City in 2020-21 and again in 22-23. He holds a Bachelor of Arts with honours in Political Science and History, Master of International Relations, is a graduate of the Australian Institute of Company Directors, and most importantly is a very appreciated member of the National Growth Areas Alliance Committee of Management. So thank you very much, Councillor Haweil, for Hume City Council hosting this online session today, and we really look forward to, over the next hour, getting to learn a lot about the work that you're doing. So I'll hand over to you now, Councillor.
Thank you very much, Bronwyn. It's a great pleasure to join you and indeed to participate in today's symposium. I do want to acknowledge the great work being done by the NGAA and for providing us this opportunity to share just a little bit about what three Victorian growth councils, Hume, Whittlesea and Mitchellshire, are doing in looking to better plan the cities of the future. And in particular, we talk about a major growth area in the north of Melbourne, covering across our three municipalities, which is known as the Cloverton Metropolitan Activity Centre. And I start with this introduction in that 3 weeks ago, three councils that I've mentioned held a historic joint meeting to forge a first of its kind regional partnership. That meeting was the first time that such a meeting had been convened under the provisions of the Victorian Local Government Act 2020. So we're very pleased to ensure that that meeting was done on something of great significance to many hundreds of thousands of people into the future. The main aim, as I mentioned, of this partnership is to coordinate the planning and delivery of the Cloverton MAC here in Melbourne's Northern Growth Corridor. This MAC is massive. It's a regional catchment that will cover three councils, be home to 380,000 residents and 50,000 jobs at full build out in probably just under 20 years. So in effect, Cloverton will be the size of Canberra, and it needs and we need to provide a diversity of housing options that ensure access to jobs that are integrated, but also that we have high quality services there as well, not just houses. The MAC is a relatively small area, 52 hectares all up. So our three councils really are working in great and close partnership to explore innovative models, including the co-location and integration of housing, regional infrastructure and environmental outcomes that deliver a more safe, walkable and climate resilient city. In a moment, I will introduce my colleague, Hume City Council CEO Sheena Frost, who will tell you a little bit more about Cloverton. But the partnership really is designed to ensure that this new area that will straddle three council boundaries will be effectively developed as a new city for the north of Melbourne. We three councils are ready and prepared and able to work together as a collective to commit to jointly planning a city that will take, as I mentioned, 20 years to be built. And this all comes really out of the understanding that we need to do things differently, that greenfields development can't just be about slapping down row after row of houses without looking at how we better integrate and ensure a better standard of living for people who will call the place home or indeed travel through the location or work there as well. So our councillors and administrators at that historic joint meeting spoke very passionately about the importance of the key principles that underpin our joint efforts, and they are what you would expect: design excellence, sustainability, jobs and transport connections, amongst others. I'm very determined, as are my colleagues across the three councils, that we don't only utilise those terms as buzzwords that are often used in the planning and development space, but that we put them into real practice, because in effect we're drawing on a blank canvas. We're starting from scratch. We don't have to retrofit suburbs or established areas to achieve really high quality outcomes. And we are confident that if we work together in a strong partnership, one to which we have already agreed, and that we are hoping the Victorian government will join us on, we are able to better plan the delivery of this important part of Melbourne's north. And to that end, I should mention also that we did meet with the Victorian Planning Minister only recently and have made what we think is our compelling case across the three councils for this project, and for the Victorian government coming on as a partner to look at how we can do things differently and move beyond the headlines of people stuck in gridlock and traffic and facing all manner of issues in greenfields areas that don't have the requisite infrastructure and services, but that we ensure that the nearly 400,000 people who are going to call this area of Melbourne's north home really are given the best possible start to life and the best circumstances to ensure lifetime well-being. And so with that introduction, I would now like to throw to my colleague, Sheena Frost, the CEO of Hume City Council, who will take us through some of the specifics. Thank you very much once again for the opportunity to be part of this symposium.